$300, $400, $500 billion building an army they will never build? I mean, think about the burden that's going to be put on Bulgaria. You know, you're going to have to rebuild your military to what end? To what? Do you really want to go to war with Russia? Didn't you just see what happened to Ukraine? Because that's your future. You can't beat Russia. NATO can't beat Russia. That Russia has a military that's combat tested, victorious. They know what winning is. When was the last war Bulgaria won? Do you have any officers today that know what military victory is? Russia is full of officers that know what military victory is. They are confident in their ability to win. You don't want to go to war with Russia. You want to be friends with Russia, not surrendering. I'm not saying anybody surrender. I'm saying to peacefully coexist with Russia as equal sovereign states. Ukraine could have done that. They chose not to. They were destroyed.
And in this moment, how Europe changed its positions today according to the new developments?
Same as always. Funny. A joke.
That's funny.
Europe's
Europe
a
is joke. It's joke.
Europe's a joke. What is Europe? What is Europe? Are you European?
Yes.
Or are you Bulgarian?
I'm very proud European. I was
very proud
member of Eastern Bloc, but now very proud European.
But what does that mean to be a European? Are you a Pole? Are you a Brit? Are you Italian? Are you French? What does European mean? What is a European? I know what
Nobody
a Bulgarian
knows.
is.
Nobody knows in Bulgaria what is to be European.
But if you don't know what a European is, how can you be a European? Yeah. How can you say I'm a proud European, but when I ask you what does it mean to be European, you say, I don't know, because there's no such thing as a European. There's something called a Bulgarian. There's something called an Italian. There's something called a Frenchman or a German or a British. We know what those are, but we don't know what a European is because it doesn't exist. That's why it's a joke. And it's a tragic joke because Europe existed, could exist as long as there was economic health, as long as something called the euro, the eurozone, the single currency, we all could live together in peace and harmony, blending the cultures. But now what we're finding out is there is something called a European, or not, there's something called a Pole and a Bulgar. How do we know? Immigration. You see, if there's no European, if there's no Bulgaria, then immigration doesn't matter. Let the immigrants flow in because it's Europe, baby. It's Europe. We're all European. But now you're finding out that the immigrants that come in, they're not Bulgarian, and that's important if you live in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
And suddenly it becomes important to become a Bulgarian and not a European. Now you have to defend Bulgaria, and that's what's happening.
But you must know now in Bulgaria, our government say our goal is Euro. Our goal is Schengen. Our goal is united with Europe. It's like in communistic time.
I mean, goals are something. My goal is to climb Mount Everest.
Yeah.
I can announce it loudly. I can stand up right now and say, I'm going to climb Mount Everest. And yet, I'm 62 years old. My cardiovascular system probably isn't what it needs to be to climb Mount Everest. I'm not trained at high altitudes. I don't know how my body doesn't work in the cold. And so to climb Mount Everest is really an impossible task. It's very easy for a politician to say what their goals are. It's harder for a politician to do something, to accomplish something. Have realistic objectives. What does it mean to be part of this, that, and the other thing when it doesn't exist? When it doesn't, Europe does not exist. Europe is a fraud.
You're like a judge. Europe does not exist. NATO is defeated. This is a little bit very scary things in Bulgaria. But I have very important...
Scary, but it should be scary. It should be scary for Bulgarians.
It should be scary.
Because what is NATO? What is NATO? It's a North Atlantic Treaty Organization, but it's a military alliance. A military alliance to do what? What is the purpose of NATO? Don't say to defend Europe, because that's a lie. Was NATO defending Europe when it launched a war of aggression against Serbia in 1999? Nope. Was NATO defending Europe when they launched a regime change operation against Libya in 2011? Nope. Was NATO defending Europe when they got involved in nation building in Afghanistan? Nope. What is NATO? NATO is an extension of American foreign policy objectives. That's all NATO is. NATO doesn't stand for anything related to Europe. It only stands for the United States of America. That's NATO.